Hi everyone. Today we'll discuss Module 4. Module 4 is Wireless LAN Security. So it is divided into 5 chapters. One is IEEE 802.11 Wireless LAN Security, followed by virus, worms, malwares, firewalls, intrusion prevention and detection, and one more is called Web Service Security. Right? So first chapter is IEEE 802.11 Wireless LAN Security. So already you would have discussed or studied 802.11 architecture IEEE. So that is the wireless LAN security. So what exactly wireless LAN? What is the architecture, how it works, right? So here again we'll study, and the important thing is how to provide security in case of this wireless, because you know exactly wide connection where it may go wrong, how to provide security, right? It is a open nature of wireless network, so it can be easily modified. Attacker can easily modify the packets, that is injects malicious packet into network. So it is a challenging to carefully design the protocols for wireless networks. Okay, we'll see what is a background for this wireless LAN protocols. First one is wired network, means many organization may use Ethernet LAN to provide an existing security infrastructure which includes authentication server. Then we have one more server called as authentication, accounting and authorization. It is provided by a server called Radius, that is remote authentication dial in user service. This is a one more service server in a wired network. Then wireless LAN, what exactly the wireless LAN networks, right? So here it will be mainly having two types of stations or two types of network. One is called as ad hoc network and the other one is infrastructure. Ad hoc means so each stations itself will communicate directly with each other, no need of access point. Whereas infrastructure which requires an access point, it is exactly similar to your phone, mobile phone, where you have tower which is covering some mobiles. You will be seeing, right, some mobiles are not in the coverage area. That is, the tower is access point and your mobiles are these stations. We call it as stations are these entities which communicate to access point, and then that access point may communicate with the other nodes, other station in a wireless LAN, or to the station in a wired network through this wireless LAN and the Radius server. So this is what we call it as infrastructure. Infrastructure means it will be exactly having an access point for communication. Station will communicate to access point, and through access point it may communicate with other part of the network, right? So those are the two types of networks where we are in detail discussing about this infrastructure wireless LAN. A group of these stations with access point, we call it as one network, that is basic service set, and this kind of networks can be called as basic service set. A group of this or combination of these basic service sets are called as ESS, that is extended service set. Then how to identify a station or a access point in a network? See here, station is sending a frame to AP, that is access point, and access point delivers to the final destination. It may be in the same network, that is other wireless LAN or wired network, right? So AP acts as a bridge between wireless LAN and the existing wired network, right? So what is the important thing is here, each access point, station access point in the ESS. So one ESS will be uniquely identified by a MAC address which is 48-bit quantity. So ESS is identified by a MAC address which is 48-bit. Similarly, each AP is also identified. Access point is identified by SSID, that is service set ID. So we call it as a access point with some station as basic service set, which is identified by service set ID, which is 32-bit characters. Okay, so each AP is identified SSID and each ESS is identified by 48-bit MAC address. Remember these things. So in a wireless station, on power off needs first to discover AP within a range. That is important here. So I want to say station will be belongs to which BSS, that is based on which station it is connected, which access point it is connected, right? So this can be done by monitoring how we are going to identify this station belongs to this access point, or that is through the special frame called as beacon frame, which is sent, that is which is periodically broadcast by AP, okay, access point. So this beacon usually contains, we know already AP is identified by SSID, so this SSID will be broadcasted. Alternatively, what it will do, station may send probe request frame for each AP within its range. So on hearing AP, so if it is adding that station for AP, it will send probe response frame containing that SSID of AP and also information about other capabilities, supporting data rates, etc. This is how one station is associated with a particular access point, that is through beacon frame, then probe request frame and probe response frame, and also the station wishes to associated with the AP sends associate request frame and it will be replied through associate response frame. Clear? This is how exactly stations are communicating to the AP. Then the earliest protocols that are incorporated in security in Wi-Fi was, the first one is WEP, that is wide equivalent privacy, which is designed to provide authentication, access control, data integrity, confidentiality, but it is not that much effective. The next protocol is Wi-Fi protected access, which intended to shortcome this WEP, but it also requiring new wireless cards, which is not protect, so it is also leads to an attack. Then one more protocol is WPA2, that is Wi-Fi protected access 2. All the deficiencies in WP have been addressed in this protocol, which is called as IEEE 802.11i. okay, so this is an important protocol. Then what exactly authentication that took place through these protocols we are going to discuss. The first one is pre-WEP authentication. We studied this WEP, that is pre-WEP. What are the drawbacks means? So what is, we have our identifying SSID for the, what is SSID for the each access point, and MAC address will be identified for the service set. So anyone can easily get back this MAC address. An attacker can hack or it can replace this SSID value. So those are drawbacks mainly in this pre-WEP. Then what about authentication in WEP is, so authentication takes place in WEP, that is how station authenticates to AP. So that is already we discussed challenge response protocol. Everyone knows challenge is something faced by the server, kept by server, and that should be proved by another entity, that is a client, as a response. Similarly here AP generates a challenge. The challenge here is nothing but some nonce, a random number, sends it to station. So station has to encrypt the challenge and sends it to AP. So what is encryption it uses is stream cipher, that is RC4. So one type of cipher encryption, stream cipher, reverse cipher 4. Then response from station is, what is the response is this one, challenge XORed with key stream of S. S is a shared secret with IV is initialization vector, right? Station computes key stream, which is a function of 40-bit shared secret with 24-bit IV. This key stream is XORed with challenge, that is a response that will be sent from station to AP. So along with that IV is also sent to AP. The shared secrets S is common to all stations authorized in the wireless LAN. So what is the drawback of this authentication in WEP is, so all an attacker needs to do or monitor this challenge response. Means once he find out he know what is this key stream or what is the XOR operation with this key stream. So then it will become very easy for an attacker. That is, after eavesdropping he will do dictionary attack. That is called as the drawback of challenge response protocol in WEP authentication.